Hello and welcome to Building Digital Solutions with Yalantis. I'm Victor Asacci, and together with our special guest today, I will lead you through the topic of AI integration in e-commerce and the AI in retail in general. Just a reminder that at Yalantis, we help businesses to bridge tech leadership and tech talent gaps with modern technology and software development practices, so you could scale, innovate, and monetize products and solutions. And today, I invite you to the conversation with a really great guest, Anca Iordanescu, who is a PhD in computer science, the founder of Women in Tech Alliance, and the VP of Engineering at IKEA Retail Inca Group. Anca, welcome to Building Digital Solutions with Yalantis, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and nice meeting you again, because this is our second podcast, and I'm really happy to do it again with you. Talk about AI, which is a very hot topic these days.
True, that is true. Yes, the very first podcast we've done is really booming and people were actually asking for more. So I'm really thankful that you decided to join the second session. And I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today. Just a reminder that it's going to be AI integration in e-commerce, how it works in retail, what's going to happen in this world of retail and e-commerce, and what we are reflecting and expecting on the future of this technology. So if you don't mind, let's start with the very first question. All right?
Yeah.
So how do you see AI transformation transforming the customer experience in e-commerce and retail over the next 5 to 10 years?
I have to say that I really think that AI, which is not really a new thing, if you really look back, AI existed for a few years, but with the ChatGPT coming out last year, there is a boom that is happening. And I really believe that this will drive what I call actually the retail 3.0 revolution. I really think that the whole retail in general, and this is my personal, I'm representing my view, is my personal view, the whole retail, it's coming to a new way of expressing itself, and where the personalization will go to an extreme. I think we will go then from me in the marketplace as a customer in towards me as a marketplace. So for me, this will be kind of a big change that will happen. My wishes, my desires, my thinking are already known by someone, by an assistant, by a personalized chat assistant that will actually make my experience, my shopping experience, becoming so personalized and so the direct communication that will change actually my way I'm experiencing the shopping. So I really believe that now, and then we will get a little bit into details, but in the 5 years to come, the shopping relation of will change dramatically. I don't want to mention that, of course, what AI will bring a lot of optimization in any form, because it's from saving time for the people that are shopping to find the right suggestions, but also from optimizing the all channels. Either it's an online e-com, or it's in the store, or it's even actually designing what you want to buy and shop to your preferences. I really foresee that probably I can say I want to design my own dress, my own furniture, have a 3D, I make it a prototype, I send it, and then someone will kind of send it home to me in a proper way. But I think it comes a big revolution. Maybe not next year, but 5 to 10, yes.
I love it. I like how you created a new term like the 3.0, and also people and their preferences, their experiences and their desires and wishes turning into like a whole platform, like a major opportunity for multiple businesses to step in, right? So not only a client can be looked at as a person who is just buying a single unit, but there will be multiple companies, right, coming to one person, somebody selling, say, furniture, another person selling some electronics, and other people coming back with some clothes. And that's really great. I like how you reflect on that. That's something.
And think about all coming to you, and actually you create what you want from different channels. So I'm in the middle. That would be very interesting to understand the appetite of the customers shopping, and yeah, who knows? I'm not really guessing in the start, but definitely it will be very exciting ahead.
Yeah, that actually sounds really exciting. Well, thank you so much. But aside of the exciting things, there is always something challenging, right? And what do you think are the main challenges that are still remaining in terms of retail, e-commerce, and in terms of integrating AI technology as a whole?
I think so from my experience because again, of course, I have my work experience at IKEA, but also I am exploring from different angles outside the work. The biggest challenge, I see few challenges. The biggest challenge is still the data.
Mm.
Whatever, in order to get this 3.0 retail 3.0 coming into life, you need to have the right foundation, and the foundation is the data. And if you don't have the right data foundation, data quality, the right integrations to the data with exposure of the data, the AI models have no really a fundamental base to do it. That will be one of the big things. How you created the data, it's correct, it's trusted, and you can use it. And that's not an easy things to do. I think most of the companies that have going through the big transformation, especially retail, but also outside retail, they see that the biggest problem is how to have trusted data in their system. And that's, again, is not an easy task because the amount of data is huge. And then also is the second problem is actually the training models. One thing that I have learned from trying different use cases or trying to solve different problems in my area through AI is we have we have a responsibility as a company when you implement whatever AI engine to provide the right correct answer. And everyone who has played with the ChatGPT or whatever other engine, they saw that it starts hallucinating. When the moment it doesn't know the answer, it goes very, very outside of the right answer. In the moment where you are a responsible company and you put, let's say, even in a store, you want to have a personalized assistant, you are responsible to provide the correct and the right answers. Also, you are responsible that the AI personalized assistant is having the right tone of voice that your company is doing. It's also ethical and provide the correct answers. So how can you take the general models that are existing today, and you are training them on your own database, on your own database to make it look good? And I have tried we did a POC, and I tell you, it's not easy. It requires a lot of computing power, a big data set, and a lot of work to create the right model. So for me, that will be a second big challenge: how you make the model to be an ethical model, but also to reflect a good quality answers, ethical answers that are trustable by your customers. Then maybe I would say the third one, I see a little bit of a lack of competence, and I know that probably it's just the booming, and there will be lots of good expertise coming away, but it's still like if today I'm trying to get like engineers to work on this, they are not so each in the race. So competence to kind of develop all these models, I see as a little bit of a challenge. Maybe it's not the biggest one, it will come. But that's also what I'm probably trying to connect a little bit, what I think the future should be and where we should look to kind of support all these initiatives.
Sure. Wow. Yeah. Well, once you said about the data quality, I couldn't just get this thing out of my mind. I've heard recently that the IoT media data is also coming to for the marketing purposes, right? And just like you said, it's hard to say if it should be trustworthy. Because, for instance, like say I have this watch that tracks my running every day. And based on this running, it can actually support the ideas on personalizing some campaigns on selling sneakers or selling any kind of other sports shoes to me. But should it be trusted? Should it be trust it as the source that really proves the information, how often I should buy these sneakers, when I should buy that. And well, yeah, just like you said, it's really cool to understand that it is still a thing that people are working on, but also it is really cool that you are also already considering the models how to properly fix that, and that's really cool. And talking about the experts, just like you mentioned, are you expecting more experts to jump into the train of AI expertise in the recent future, right?
Yes, I really hope so, and I really expect. And I want to kind of mention initiative that I am taking with the Women in Tech Alliance that I have founded. So we have already launched a series of workshops to support women to understand the power AI, but also to go deeper into technology. So kind of learning events for the women, so we can actually offer them the opportunity to first understand what is AI. They are coming from different technology fields, and try to repurpose their work. So that's one thing. But the second thing where I'm actually I want to kind of do more, it's actually start early from universities. Um, and unfortunately, it's not moving as fast as I wished. It's a little bit bureaucracy around it, but how we can actually make university to encourage more technology students to take that path. Also looking into the future, because probably the world of how you write software today will be transformed through actually all these tools that are enabled with AI, where and I have to say, I have kids, boys studying, and they are just in their first year of at university trying to learn software development, writing code, yeah. And I see one coming yesterday, I have to give it from house. My husband is also a software developer. He's an engineer, very good in coding. And then he wanted help with something that he didn't work. And they said, "Oh, ChatGPT told me that this is a model." And then my husband, who is a little bit old-fashioned, said, "Forget about ChatGPT. You have to solve a problem by yourself." But I'm trying to say that the way that the people who start doing code development will change. That will increase, of course, efficiency, but also we need to have people that still know how to code to
Sure.
oversee what ChatGPT is suggesting, because definitely not always is correct.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I think it's probably will be a boom. It has to be a boom, and university has to support this.
Yeah, I like how you already work on that. Not only you are expecting it, but you are also encouraging people and encouraging Women in Tech Alliance, right, to step into this game. This is really awesome. And yeah, please.
I wanted actually to do, I'm trying another, that's a very interesting initiative that also starting, I'm learning from life from my kids, also with the university. In Sweden, where there is it's this about you are not allowed to use AI into writing your essay at the
Mhm.
university. But guess what? Most of the children, kids, students, they are using it, and they know how to wash the text or whatever the result. So you cannot really, the plagiat, you cannot get it.
Yeah.
So I have friends at university, both Lund and Malmö, and we have discussed, okay, should we actually change this mindset? Should we actually try to say that let's use ChatGPT as like we use calculator today, yeah? It's
Yeah.
just a tool, but let's change the way you examine. Let's change the way you allow the tool, but let's use differently to examine and see the result. So let's do, and actually a little bit that's also, I didn't manage to finish this, because that we said, let's do a test with the two groups of students. One which can do proper, old-fashioned writing an essay, and one which we say, you go ahead, use ChatGPT. Of course, make sure that you verify the source, make sure that you cross-check because sometimes he can say really bad things, so make sure. But when you come here, you are not allowed to use the computer. We examine you by telling us how to tell us how did you learn about it, to explain now. So it shows that you have understood, because that will, what we want to achieve is that first you are having faster way to write things or to understand things, so you can actually do more, but also you can use your mindset to kind of talk about. So that's actually where we are in a little bit, we are on the whole university to how you get this approval, but this is a mindset. And want you to compare that first. Are the students going to learn faster and more? So are we actually affecting the memory and the learning process with that? Second is, can they learn more? Because if now, instead of using, like, again, I take my boys' examples, instead of using weeks to go to library, open books, look, read, now they have an answer to poor ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, tell me about backwards propagation in AI mechanism. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
AI is coming there, and then you just, and can you explain more? So you get everything, you just get it, everything served. So you use maybe 2 days instead of 2 weeks. So can we actually increase our speed of learning? But that's actually very interesting to really debate and see. And if I really manage to get these two university, which are two big university, to run this experiment and do a white paper and an understanding and comparison, my aim is actually to change the university model. Again, I am a little bit of a dreamer trying to change the universities, but I think that probably step by step they will get there.
No, I actually like this kind of a approach. Just like you mentioned, the calculators. Some times ago, people were not allowed to use them, but now we just know that it actually helps. Let's just take a simple example. If we talk about a cash desk where there is still a person sitting and working, say at some kind of a supermarket, the person doesn't have to do the calculation, right? The cash desk will actually show the information, like how much should the person give as a change, if necessary, actually, because if you are using a credit card, all of the calculations are actually done by machines, and it's not affecting our life. Actually, we are actually feeling more comfortable. We are saving time. The same thing here. If we can save more time and still understand what we need to learn, what we need to take inside of our inner database, why not? I like this approach. And the only trouble, just like you mentioned, I guess the only trouble here is ethics, right? So some people believe it's still in a still, say, old-fashioned, just again like you mentioned, in a still old-fashioned way, that people should go to the library, spend like weeks understanding some kind of a concept that can be just delivered to you by AI in a moment, in a minute, in 2 minutes. What we are actually doing in our work, we are using it for helping us sorting data, and we are saving, I guess, something like 4 days of work, and get like 4 hours of work instead of this. So if it's not affecting anything, if it's actually helping and impacting in a better way, why not?
And now, no, I'm not sure, probably will come a next question, and maybe we can even take the next question, or I can put my own next one. I think where is the boundary of creativity? Because that's actually what,
True.
for me, as I'm a very much pro all the development, I'm always, again, an early adopter of many things. I want to try, I want to fail, I have opinions, but I'm the one, trying things first. When it's about the whole ChatGPT, and I'm not talking about AI, but more about generative AI, I wonder, where the creativity stops, and if this will impact us as a human race, the whole creativity. It's very obvious that now, if you look and you try to write whatever media text, there is really all looks the same. If you write to make a post today, all looks the same. You can immediately recognize a text written by ChatGPT in a second. So how, and again, I use it myself, and I use it because it saves so much time, in, say, write a draft, but then I need to have the creativity work on the draft to make it mine. Again, I get the best, write me a script about XYZ. I get the basics, but then still I need to put my words, my creativity, maybe I need to search more. You still have to do some work to move it from a standard generative AI into your own. And that's where I'm thinking, will this generative AI a little bit will stop the creativity? What will happen with us in 5 years where everything, think about all posts or newspaper articles written will be just the same. So,
Yeah, hopefully
so that's
not,
a
but
little bit worried where creativity goes compared to efficiency. So
yeah, just like you said, a lot of posts look the same. I just the first thing come into my mind is hope this email finds you well, right? And emails that start with this, you can actually understand that there are so many patterns already used by AI. Yeah, just well, as we've stepped into the ethics topic in general, I guess there is always some kind of a boundary in every area. And if we are talking about the area we've started with is like retail and e-commerce, I guess it's okay as far as it's not stopping you from creating and personalizing. I guess the only issues when we can consider ethic norms will be in kind of different areas like medicines, like healthcare, like banking area, where you actually are already working with some kind of risks, and it's about risking lives in that case. But I guess in terms of retail and e-commerce, do you think there are some kind of ethical norms or ethical limits that are related to AI in this particular way?
actually, I think they should be, because think about as a e-com with an AI engine brain behind, which you as a customer, I'm logging in. Let's say I take an app, which takes me whatever app. It can be an IKEA app, can be an H&M app, can be a whatever app you have to shop something. You will start putting their preferences. Yeah. So the app will store data about, okay, my size, my shoes, my preference, my color, and then if they misuse that data to sell the data and train AI. Remember there was some news in the article when they were asking oh, now I lost the name, um, the CTO for the company, about how they train the model and if they have paid for the data. You see, so
Mhm.
if that kind of ethic doesn't work and you use the data in not in a proper way, of
Yeah,
course you actually have a lot of knowledge about your customer. So definitely there should be limits. Definitely we should have an opt-in and an opt-out. Um, but yeah, so it doesn't have to be very sensitive data like my money or my personal ID or something, but even preferences, because again, would you like to be bombarded and your data be used?
sure.
No, no one wants that.
Nobody wants that. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Well, yes, there is always has to be some kind of a limit that actually prevents you from feeling uncomfortable using AI and being in that kind of a program, just like you said.
And even now we talk about, again, when we talk about personalization and app, for example, coming into a store, your app, if you have your app on, will detect that you are very close to this store. And if you have given okay to that, you start being bombarded. This is events coming. This is sales that are coming. This is marketing. You have to be very comfortable with that. Yeah. And then it's a tracking thing. Okay, is it ethical or not to track where am I, to detect me? So again, that's a lot of aspects of that. Um, and when, as any company that is getting into that, has to be very, very careful with that.
True, true, totally agree. Yeah, we've actually already discussed how marketing specialists and departments are taking advantage of AI for sure. But let's reflect on the previous podcast that we've recorded with you. You've mentioned a lot of interesting things like improving backyard operations, improving the supply chain, right, management stuff. Would you please remind on what you see is going to happen in the next, let's say again, 5 to 10 years? Are we going further improve in the further improvement of these backyard operations? Uh, please.
I really think so. I really think so that there is actually probably maybe I would say maybe the easiest use case of the AI in general, because there it's about optimization, it's about cutting costs, which can be reached by automation. So, for example, identifying the products that are misplaced, making sure that for example, in a store, or making sure that you as a customer have the right route into so you reach faster your what items you want to buy, or actually even in the fulfillment area of the stores, making sure that you have availability to promise, you have all the items in the stock. I think also it can be a huge optimization in the transportation, meaning in reduce in sustainability. And now that's very also controversial. Now I'm a little bit making a parenthesis, because again, all AI models requires a huge compute. Yeah.
Sure.
And then you think about, okay, I use AI to create a more sustainable climate, shortest path, first time right, so on. So I use AI for optimization, but I actually generate more power. So there is a lot of
Yeah.
discussion with it's a good AI or it's not good AI, especially for sustainability. And of course, probably we gain more than we lose, but it's still a discussion about computing, and probably that's a future where we should focus to create this kind of a more sustainable compute to be able to run faster models. Maybe now going again back on optimization. A lot of manual tasks that store associates are doing today, they can be replaced for an AI. A lot of suggestions on, understanding how the customers are flowing in your store, or understanding which the products are most sell, and creating these what if scenarios, meaning I see today that item X is very well sold. Maybe can I repeat the same experience with the other one? Or I see that if you put that item in front of the store, it gave you it's sold more than if you have put it in the other part of the store. So this kind of the improvements, definitely AI will help a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that there is a tremendous potential in terms of inventory management for sure. And again, the personalization and the marketing purposes always are benefiting from this. All right, well, thank you so much for these reflections. I was also wondering, you've already touched base on the sustainability initiatives, and previously you've also mentioned that you specifically are working on that. Would you say advise or maybe point out some of the successful sustainability initiatives that are AI related that should be practiced more or developed more so that our listeners also could catch up on them and say start practicing them?
Oh, that's actually a tough question, because I'm not sure if I have so many good, how should I say, already done. I think really AI and sustainability is pretty new.
Totally you.
And I don't really have a lot of good examples to be used. I think everyone is exploring into how to use AI, but what I think you can gain optimization, reduce carbon footprint, and there's definitely a use case in everywhere. Even probably I understand, even if I take like from workforce management and using your computers and laptop, if you can find a mechanism to kind of create a more efficient algorithm of how you come into the office, how you use your compute laptops. Another thing can be waste management, water management, electricity management, all these things. But I have not seen really kind of a a tool that you say you should use it, or this is a thing that we have done. But and actually, I'm kind of thinking of another way to use AI as a decision making, and that's very provocative. I'm just saying that in many countries, probably there is a, I would say, corruptions, and then the decisions are not always taken with the sustainability and climate impact in mind. So again, there are some thoughts about using AI for decision making to remove all these kind of biases into decision making. I don't know to what level you can do that, but it will be very interesting to see if we get to that level where, you know, but maybe some decision, you know, could be taken. It's so very so obvious that you have the AI just take the decisions for you. There is no human involved into that. So it's all very data-based. If the data is right, and we go back to the, do we have the correct data? Can we actually make sure that our AI models suggest the right decision if we don't know what data has been trained on?
Well, yeah, that's a really powerful point. If you are confident about the quality of your data, and specifically talking about the sustainability initiatives, you are sure that everything's done correctly, not corrupted, but which is also an issue. Well, to be honest, there are still norms in the world of the emissions that can be done by specific countries, and some countries are actually purchasing the norms, the amounts that haven't been used by other countries, like for example China does. And that's the trouble. Yes, we have to be really confident about the data if it's not actually overusing, right, the emissions, and not over, let's say, overextending this amount of emissions. Totally agree. I was also wondering about the decision making you were talking about. Uh, from your own experience, where are you already allowing AI to step into in terms of decision making? And of course, in terms of the AI and retail and e-commerce, maybe there are specific examples you would like to point out.
Yeah, I think from, so I don't think we are there where we say we allow a model to take a decision for us. I think it's still a human that supervise the decision, but absolutely scenarios and recommendation, yes. And probably that will be the next level. When you trust the model very well, then you can actually know that this is trained. They understand me, and or not me, and or they understand the surroundings and the needs and everything. So the context, that was the word I was looking. So you can take the right decision. Again, another example which I have tried, again, going back a little bit of, you can't use general open AI models because they don't know your context. But just trying to use other models, but to train on your data to become more trustable model is not just very straightforward. So it requires a lot of investment and a lot of quality of the data that you have. And in many companies, in many, I don't know, but even in our case, your data is not ready. It's not so digitalized. Just even if I take, I'm just now saying the pictures of we are showing on different web page. There has to be a standard way of showing these pictures so they can be used in a multimodal AI AI brain, AI engine. Anyway, lots of, I would say that we are not ready to give the AI all the decisions, but it will be probably a future.
Yeah, agree on
You say
that.
coffee or tea, you know, and then you got it.
Yes, and the AI is saying, well, on Tuesdays you normally have tea, so I recommend you take the tea. Yeah,
That
totally
was
agree.
a very interesting book that I read, and it was called Something by the Lake, which I thought it was a sustainability book, but it was actually about AI taking the decisions, going a little bit to extreme that, you know, going into you deciding for you as a private individual life, meaning me as a couple to see should we have a child or not in this world. And then you know that the world is overpopulated, you know, and so on, so on. And then an AI engine comes and take a decision, says, you know, if I take your demographic, maybe you shouldn't have a child. And then that's actually is not anymore a recommendation. It's actually a decision. And if you don't follow it, there are consequences. That's a very interesting moral debate on how far can we go about,
Yeah.
okay, because we think we take decisions, data-based decisions, but actually we take a lot of feelings-based decision, no matter what we are saying. Yeah. So we know the world is overpopulated, but we still are selfish enough to have our own child.
Yes, yes. I totally agree. It's always also a moral dilemma, I guess, whether you should or should not actually rely on the trustworthy, I would say. In this specific case, if we take our emotions away and just say that should a person adopt a child, right, rather than give birth to a child, which is actually an answer that has been given a long time ago. There are so many kids that are actually looking for parents and would be happy to get adopted. And still, we all are wishing to have our own families.
So an AI decision of, like we say, a God AI making decisions for you, that definitely will make you to do, or will ask you to take the wrong decisions that definitely you will not want it. But that's a little bit, I spoke with a nice friend of mine about ethical AI, and then we get into not into generative AI, but more into a general AI. And me as a technologist, I'm always very, as I told you, I like the technology. I find it so fascinating that you can do things that no one has done it before. And sometimes most of the technologies fail, and it's just something fun, and interesting to research it and use it. And then I was so, I said, we should go into this the general AI, and then maybe I will have at home someone that is, okay, cleaning, but not as a robot, but at a different level. I have my own robot too. And then she looked at me, why would we need as a human being, a robot to clean, really like another servant? Why would she get into the ethical of, why do we need to have a servant in the house? Doesn't matter it's a human or, it goes so deep. So all these discussions, so I felt like, yeah. And then she was so prepared, and I'm not as good as she was doing a PhD in ethics of AI. So definitely I couldn't compete with her brain. But she really took me so deep into kind of thinking and, what is right, what is not right, what means, that I have to say that a little bit took me a step back about, okay, what I'm really now about is really just cool to have technologies, or we should think twice.
Yeah, totally agree. I guess it really depends on the industry. If we get back to the context of specific industries and domains, I guess it really depends on the industry to develop their own ethical norms of whether or not AI should step into, say, like real decision making and not recommending. Should it step away from the predictive maintenance ideas and advice to like just doing the predictive maintenance once the AI detects some kind of an issue. Yeah. And that's really cool question. I guess every industry has to develop their own norms, and which is kind of a really rightful. Just like you mentioned, if we talk about the people, there is going to be so many things to walk around and consider if we should actually go there. But if we talk about some kind of a specific, more repetitive things like ideas in supply
Yeah.
chain, like driving, definitely it's going to change a lot.
I think so. And that's probably where we should take the advantage of it. So as long as it's automation and optimization and removing tasks that actually by even can bring human error, absolutely we should do it. If it's even, again, even in the software development, if you can already reuse things that are really checked and good, why not? Instead of writing a code in 2 days and debugging and getting annoyed, you have it already, you just have to integrate again. But also maybe our brain, that's where I think we need to kind of start learning differently and looking differently how we use our brains. But I'm sure that should be the right path. The other stuff more about, again, general AI, let's see.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. Well, thank you so much. I guess we are running out of time, and I had a really great pleasure talking about AI and its future. Well, we've started off from the e-commerce and retail and have gone way into further future of people in the AI in general. Thank you so much. It was really, really insightful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I understand that our listeners would be also willing to ask more questions and maybe reflect on the previous things mentioned in our podcast. So I encourage all of our listeners to later just catch up with us on LinkedIn or on email. Feel free to email us at hello@yalantis.com for more questions on AI and specifically in retail and e-commerce. Feel free to shout out to Anka and reach out to her on LinkedIn. And just a reminder that Anka is also a founder of the Women in Tech Alliance. And please go learn more about the initiatives Anka is doing on this amazing alliance and this amazing initiative. I already remember that you were saying that you are encouraging women to step into the world of technology. So if our listeners here are the people and the women that are looking to step, please reach out to Anka as well. It will be
Yeah.
a great opportunity. Just
Thank you.
wanted to thank you so much for the insights. It was a really big pleasure. Hope we catch up on another one. It was really nice, and I hope our listeners also benefited a lot from this podcast. Thank you so much for
Thank
this.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.